and that's what we looked at is, hey, how's it going? I clicked the go live button. Yay, we're live on Facebook. Yes, and to finish up that question, totally worth it. We looked at it as being online and getting our presence out there. This is the largest place that we can influence a market, and we look at it. So everybody that's watching us right now on Facebook, we're like, this is where we love spending time with everyone here. Because of how good it is, but because of how impactful all of this is.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point, and I love that. And I love that we can talk about marketing and dogs and people.
Yeah, because what do people want to find out? What do they want to hear about? But we're here. My name is Matt Rowe. I'm with Parsley Pet, and we are really interested in the health and the life of dogs and improving it. And I'm here, and Nikki Burnett is my co-host, and she owns a company called Taste Life Nutrition, and really super happy. And I do have to just do a shout out to Nikki. This morning, I was a guest on her radio show, and how awesome that was.
That was so fun.
Thank you very much, Nikki, for having me on this morning.
Yeah, no, I was glad to have you, and we will do it again because it was super fun. And it's much more fun, kind of like this environment. It's much more fun having somebody there to talk to and just bounce off of and learn from and all of the things than just sitting there talking to yourself, which is a lot of times what we do in Facebook Live. And that's also what you do in radio, right? You're just sitting there talking. Right. So, yeah.
Yeah. And at some point, if it was 50 years ago, they'd be like, I think that woman's crazy. She's just staring at something and just talking. Yeah. It's just the reality of our world today. Yes, we are going to put on shows like this, but this is how I feel that we influence, individuals and help them. And this is one thing that's beautiful about our day and age today. Look at how easy it is to get the information that you need.
Yes. Yeah.
So there's no excuses.
No, there aren't excuses. And, it's like when all of, we have the Industrial Revolution and we start getting all of these fake foods, and then we have fake dog food. And it was really difficult to understand or to know or to care or know that you didn't know that it wasn't real food, and to find the information and to really dig into that stuff. Where now, we can have a few people that are out there doing the digging and getting the truth out there and affect the masses. And obviously we want to do that for the positive. The masses can also be affected by the negative, and that's not our goal. We want to get the real, true information out there that we know is as factual as possible for today. Things change, science changes, but what we do know for sure, with no doubt, is that kibble is toxic.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay,
there's
done.
Too many reports. There's a ton of individuals. If you don't believe us, go take a look at the videos Rodney Habib is putting up in Toronto, and he's testing pet foods. And you look at all these individuals now are just fed up with it. And this is what I love, is that doing a format like this, it's not that it's easy, but it's fun. And this is what we love to do. But now we have a voice, and now we can get out there and we can actually have this conversation and really making it accessible for you to follow. But there, as with all things, it has two spectrums. So you have the one side here that really good information is being shared. And then you have one side over here is, I don't know how accurate or truthful that information being shared is.
Right.
So definitely know your sources of information, know where you received it, know who you're following, know if they're reputable or not. And you made a great statement this morning when we kind of touched on this a little bit during the radio show, is know where the money goes.
Yeah.
Follow the money thread.
You have to follow the money. Mm-hmm.
And that's it. I mean, if
you're a little bit.
Oh, you're chopping out a little bit too.
Uh-oh, you're frozen.
All right, is that better? Dun, dun. Nope, you're frozen, Nikki. See, and this is everything with Facebook Live is you get the joy of having something freeze up on you. And so, yeah, you're frozen, Nikki. And oh, let's see if she comes back on.
Hey.
There you go. I got you back. All right.
That was easy. I thought I'd have to click on the link again.
No,
okay.
It worked like a champ. Yeah, you're back in. So I just hope it's broadcasting Facebook just the way that we wanted to. We just talking to to ourselves, which is another great conversation. So we were talking about today, Nikki, that we were going to bring up a topic on environment.
Yeah.
And the environmental toxins that are all around us all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
You're up. I want to hear what you have to say about this.
The thing that gets me is we love our dogs or our cats or whatever it is that we have, and we know that they like to play, and we know we want to give them all of the fun things to play with. And so we have Christmas, and we have all of these stuffed animals, and we just load them up with these fun stuffed animals so they can just tear them up in 10 minutes, or they sleep on them, or they just chew on them, or whatever it is. And it's so great, and it's so cute, and it makes us feel so happy. Same with me. But I'm going to tell you that it is incredibly difficult to find toys that are not from China and that are not full of toxins. It is virtually, it's not impossible. I have some, but the thing is, we have to be so careful. Toys, beds, these are things they're putting their mouths on. And think of this with kids too, right? We get these toys, these soft, great stuffed animals. They're coming from China, and maybe they're not, but they're full of the fire retardants, and any other the BPA's and all of these other chemicals, plastics. They're so dangerous and so damaging and so overwhelming to the immune system that we wonder again why we're losing our animals so early. And it's just stuff that we just don't often think about. And so it's a hard one. And it's another thing that I love about your test is because, and I know you don't do chemicals, but you do heavy metals. Chemicals have heavy metals in them. So those are things that we might be able to find. Maybe we should do some chemicals in your testing.
Yes. And I have not found a good lab to actually test for chemicals. So if you're a lab out there and you test for chemicals and chemical exposure, send me an email, emro@parsleypet.com, and I'd love to talk to you. But really, I mean, you made a great point. This sweater I'm wearing right now, when I bought it, they actually put an anti-molding agent on it because this sweater was put in a container and shipped across the ocean. Now, as far as I know, it's very humid, probably in that environment. So to keep this sweater from molding, they spray an anti-molding agent all over it. But they do it to the dog toys as well. So that dog toy you're giving your pet, you rip the package open, you toss it to them. Trust me, I've done it more times than I'd like to admit. And I don't think about it at the moment. So, like, oh my God, you're going to love playing with this. I don't think about it. But at some point, it's got that. I mean, and then we can talk about off-gassing is just a whole nother spectrum.
Well, it's true. And so I think we should talk about it. But back to that, think about, besides it just being toxic, been potentially a neurotoxin, some are and some aren't. But, if it's an anti-molding agent, it's going to mess up, it's going to totally screw up the microbiome. And so I don't know if you heard me, but for humans, Great Plains Labs out of Kansas, they do environmental toxicant testing.
Wow. All right.
So that could be maybe.
Yeah, and if you don't get it from Parsley Pet, go to Great Plains.
No, for humans. So I'm saying you need to collaborate with them. That's what I meant.
Oh, okay. Yeah, do you actually get testing from Great Plains? Yes. And that's what we look at is, all of this stuff out there. So the tests are available. You can test from either Great Plains or Parsley Pet or all these other great companies. You can test how your microbiome is being affected. But I think this is more of a state of the way our world is today. I don't think we can take it as just face value anymore. there's so many environmental toxins that we really have to take our health into our own hands.
Yeah.
And, you know, with things that you do, Nikki, over at Taste Life Nutrition, is you're taking a look at all of this stuff and painting a full picture instead of just treating the symptom of what's happening.
Right. Well, yeah, because, you know, if you're just working on symptoms, then you're just going to cover them up. And that's not going to do anybody any good. And they're just going to continue to get out of control because the body's not balancing. It's just getting worse. And you're going, oh, okay, but I'm going to put a little Band-Aid on it and I can't see it. So there we go. It's all better now.
Yeah.
So the dogs are the same way. And any of our animals. I mean, we're not that much different. We all have an immune system. We all have a microbiome, whether it's oral microbiome or gut microbiome or, you know, the whole thing. And we're all going to respond negatively, at least in time, to toxins. Any living organism is going to respond to toxins. And some of them respond positively, like, you know, the weeds and bugs that respond by mutating because we're putting so much pesticide and herbicide on the ground. They're like, all right, well, I'll show you. I'm just going to mutate into something else. You know, we don't have the capability of doing that.
Yeah. You know, when I was a part of the Bionutrient Food Association, the BFA, when we were talking to individuals there, well, a farmer comes out and says, I don't have a bug problem. I have healthy soils. And so when we actually promote the good bacteria around us, so let's say my bacteria in my colon is healthy and diverse and thriving, I don't get as sick as often. So it's the same for farm fields. Don't get infected with all of these pests that come into it because they have a good, healthy, diverse soil. That really, it doesn't repel them, but it really, the good bacteria outweighs the bad bacteria and the good bacteria eats the bad bacteria. Yeah,
it's pretty amazing. I mean, you can think of, I don't know, maybe not going to say this very well, but our bodies are, you know, really so much like the earth. The earth has its own detoxification system. It has its own immune system per se. I mean, it's really a beautiful thing. And then what we do is we just as humans go in and screw it up, you know, by putting these synthetics down, and we change the microbiome of the earth, and then we change the microbiome of our bodies. And that's, you know, we have these really seriously depressed immune systems and these mental and emotional disorders, which come from very often from the gut disorders. It's nasty. And dogs too, you know, the same thing. If their microbiome is out of whack, they might be angry. They might have anxiety. They could change in an instant. And you're like, why? What's wrong with my dog? Well, you know, did you just give him an antibiotic? Did you just put down, you know, Roundup in the yard? You know, it's always important for humans and for animals to, when something happens, something changes, you know, start to think back what maybe could have happened at that point. And when I'm working with clients, I do a timeline, and I'm able to kind of see into their life from prior to their birth until, you know, that day that we meet. And oftentimes you can say, oh, there it is. Or potentially there is that trigger right there that created all of the muck.
Right. That could be a potential issue. But that's why, you know, really sitting down with somebody that's going to dissect the past. Because, I mean, that's when you take healthcare into your own hands, it's not just this specific moment of how you feel right now. It's really taking a look at the entire, I want to say ecosystem of it all, but that's going to be possibly too broad of a context. But yeah, I mean, you're taking a look at everything. How much stress do I have? How much stress does my pet have? What are they eating? Where are they sleeping? Are they sleeping on a brand new dog bed that's off-gassing and giving that to them? And, you know, you're looking at all these aspects, and it might not just be one. It might be a conglomeration of 4 or 5 different things that you've added up that created this perfect storm. And now, one thing is beautiful about that is now you can begin dissecting it and begin removing different aspects to get it back down to that base level of health, of what makes your dog feel better.
So get into off-gassing. We recently, it's the hard thing about the world that we live in, is there are things that I know and I don't always pay attention to the way that I should. But most of our houses, we have hardwoods, we have old carpet that we can't wait to replace, but we did bring in a rug, and it was just a rug that we bought online.
Sure.
And as soon as it got here, I had to leave it outside for a week because the smell was so intense. I was like, what have I done? And what am I doing to my dogs? And what am I doing to us? Because it was so intense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, you take a look at, one thing that frustrates me when I drive home from the office is the guy in front of me will coal roll his big diesel pickup truck. And I know those things, you can drive them without, blowing a bunch of black smoke in the air, but really that black smoke went into my vents and it comes out and I can smell it.
Yeah.
And it's not the fact that it smells. Man, I used to pump septic tanks as a kid. It's not the smell.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
That's a whole nother story, Nikki. That's what happens when you work with family. And so when in that, I'm just thinking about it on that same point. I'm like, oh, great. I just ingested all of his diesel carbon.
Yeah.
And I just sniffed it in. But, this is something that your dogs, and we've talked about this before, when you take your dog for a walk, him or her, their nose is on the ground.
Yeah.
Our nose is not on the ground. We have it up in the air, and we get this layer of air where it's, let's say I'm 5'9". We have this layer of air right there. But your dog is looking at it from 4 inches off the ground. And think about, as you're walking around, what is your dog exposed to that's 4 inches from the ground? Did the person just fertilize their yard?
Yeah.
And that's where you're looking at, there's a great doctor here in town by the name of Dr. Judy Jasic that I love dearly. And she goes, in the summertime, I don't walk my dog down streets that the grass is really green. Because it's Colorado. And the only way you get green grass in Colorado is to fertilize the tar out of it.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, we watered the tar out of ours. We had pretty green grass, but we also had lots of dandelions. Yeah. And so Lowry's like, do something. I'm like, okay, we're going to eat them.
So good for you.
He was not very happy about it, but I'm like, what do you want me to do? I might go out and put vinegar on it or something, but it was nice and green with some yellow spots in there, and they're beautiful.
And it's actually, dandelion is actually really good for you as well.
Yeah. Free food. I mean, we want to go kill it. And sorry, it's a totally different topic, but I'm like, we talk about how expensive food is, and really we can go into the backyard and we can pick and eat some nice vegetables that we didn't even have to put any effort into growing.
Right. Yeah.
Great.
Because it's dandelions. So and you just repurpose them for something different. So essentially, and when you look at all of that stuff that we do for ourselves, like, we're not saying don't buy new carpets, don't buy this, don't buy that. It's just, when you buy new clothes, wash them. If you get a new dog bed, wash it in the washing machine. Get as much of that mold agent off of there as you can, because then you can get it back to that natural state as close as you can. That's why, Patagonia does organic cotton. And people are, they look at it and they're like, why do you need cotton organic? Well, at some point, if you're conventionally growing cotton and it's coming up at that standpoint, well, it's absorbing the chemicals that are growing the cotton. And then essentially you're wearing that, and your skin is one gigantic organ. Yeah. And it will absorb throughout get your hands dirty and fall asleep. And when you wake up in the morning, they're not as dirty as when you went to sleep. And really it's because it's absorbing through your skin into your actual bloodstream. Yeah. Oh, it's scary stuff. So I was reading, hold on, let me see if I can get to it real quick. Oh, well. Well, I think we're looking at Nikki right now. And I think her screen froze up again. Nope, she's coming back. I know she is. There she is again.
Must be on my end because my computer was frozen. So sorry.
All right. Well, it's the love of technology. And so that's it, doing these shows, it's just, we are not a professional studio, and we are professionals on improving the lives of pets and people. So
Yeah.
I would rather do that than figure out how to run technology perfectly. But thanks for sticking with us, for everybody that's stuck with us at this point. But yes, I mean, and really, as you follow that information thread, you were about ready to look up an article. If you type in a Google search, you're going to see different articles pop up on off-gassing. You're going to see different articles pop up on chemical exposure or environmental exposure and where it comes down. Now, I don't think it should ever scare you or ever stop you from doing something. Is really, you're taking a look at it and just be aware that it's there, so then you can take some precautionary steps to get around it.
Right.
A big precautionary step is, and this is a weird one, but I stopped using anti-bacterial hand sanitizer.
Good. Yeah.
Because if you
That's
look
a big
at
deal.
all that bacteria that's in our environment, it gets on our hands. Now, granted, if your hands are dirty and you're in an environment, say a bathroom, and you want to wash them, I mean, at some point, yes, always wash your hands. But really, you want those good bacteria and good microbes within you in that. So there are different products out there that are meant to keep you safe and healthy, but they actually strip the good bacteria from you. So essentially, do you feel that in some of these environmental situations, are we just damaging the subdermal or the outer layer of good bacteria on our skin?
Yeah. Yeah. So our skin has its own, microbiota. And so, yeah, it's essentially, if we're killing bugs, whatever it is that we're putting on us, if we're killing bugs, we're probably killing both the good and the bad. Now, with that said, we can do things like alcohol, rubbing alcohol. That one's probably not quite as toxic as some of these chemicals that are true antimicrobial, toxic antimicrobials that kill everything. Because you go into any public restroom and they have this, antibacterial soap that's this microban or whatever it is. I don't know what it is, but it's going in. It's not only screwing with the bacteria on your skin, but it's going in and it's affecting your gut microbiome. So it's going to affect all of it. And so if it's killing, it's going to kill probably lots of stuff. Now, going back to it, there are certainly times when we want antibacterial things. So, but we need to not make a habit of it. We need in our homes regular soap, and just wash your hands. Let's not damage the bacteria that are there. Just wash your hands, because it's just a precautionary thing. But what we just really need to try to get away from, because I think that they're excessive, are these toxic chemical antimicrobials, and I guess antibacterials is more what I mean, the topical antibacterials, and not using those just all the time, because it's too much. It goes back to when I was talking about the mutation of the weeds and the bugs in the crop in the fields, on the crops. It's the same in our body. Same for the dogs. We've got these bugs that are mutating that are not susceptible to the antibiotics that we currently have. So the body doesn't know how to handle it. It's already probably got a weakened immune system, and then people get really sick or they die because there's some mutated bug. And we need to stop being so freaking clean. Clean is fine, but too clean is not fine.
I'm going to agree with you on that statement. I think we can overdo it. I mean, as it's always said, do in moderation. So I mean, if we look at this type of stuff in moderation, we can get clean. I mean, I'm not talking, go back 14th century dirty. I mean, that's when some diseases and the Black Plague and all that stuff came out. We are not at that level. We're not even close to that level of dirtiness. We live in a very clean society. And so, but I think at some point we live so clean, we strip the good bacteria out, like you mentioned. Yeah.
And I think we can also segue that a little bit and talk about the things that we put on our bodies, the things that we put on our animals' bodies to clean them or to make them smell pretty. all of these things that they are, and we are putting on our skin, then we're also inhaling them. And all of these things, they are, they might be killing the bacteria, but they're almost always hormone disruptors for us and for our dogs. So I'm sure you've heard the term xenoestrogen.
Yep.
Okay. So for those who haven't, it's basically it's an estrogen mimicker. And so we all, dogs have hormones too, but we all have estrogen receptors all over our body. And so these chemicals will bind to these estrogen receptors, and they bind, I don't know if it's not permanent, but it's a really intense bind where it doesn't come apart, and our own natural estrogen doesn't allow it is not allowed to do its job. So it can't bind, so it can't do its job. So for humans, men and women, we have this estrogen, this out of control estrogen, and then all of our other hormones are then going to be thrown out of whack as well. So what about our dogs? Those are things that we can't always see or understand, but what's happening with them? I think that we've done so much study on ourselves, because we can talk and we can, talk about our symptoms and how we're feeling and when we're feeling better. But even if our animals don't have their, if they've been spayed or neutered, these xenoestrogens can still affect them. How is it affecting them? What's it doing to them? Is that another issue besides just being toxic? Is these xenoestrogens that are running around creating lots of problems, creating extra fat. We've got all of these fat animals. It's going to be due to kibble. It's going to be due to lack of exercise. Could be due to the toxins and the chemicals and the inability to detoxify and to eliminate. And these fake, or these estrogen mimickers that are creating all kinds of problems.
You're right. Let's just take one, example. So, the Glade air fresheners you plug in into your home. And so whether you have a smell in your home or whatever it is, or you use Febreze, or using a chemical spray in the house. So now all of a sudden your pet is smelling that chemical spray. Now their smell is 10,000 times greater than ours. So could you imagine the intensity of that smell?
No.
Now, most smells come from a lack of, I'm probably going to get this wrong or butcher it, is from a bacterial imbalance within our body. So those with really bad body odor is usually, you have worse body odor when you eat processed foods.
Right.
It's because you're detoxifying and all of that toxin is coming out. And that toxin, yes, does have a smell to it. So something I noticed with my pets is when I started to feed them a raw diet, they stopped smelling.
Yeah.
My house didn't smell like dog anymore. And I have two dogs and I have two teenagers, and this is just chaos all the time. And yeah, my house should smell that way. Now, at some point you could say, oh, I'm just used to it. But my parents come over, we have friends come over, we have all that. And if they're really good friends, I'll say, hey, does the house smell at all?
Yeah.
No, really, honestly, it doesn't. It, it really smells like what you're cooking and all that type of stuff.
Yes.
And so I'm not masking it with a air freshener, because that air freshener, just like you said, can disrupt the estrogen balance.
Yeah.
Because it binds. It's, the estrogen is looking for a symbiotic match that goes in and helps that estrogen develop. And what it does is, when you have an air freshener or something like that, it binds to that, like you had just described. And then all of a sudden we're not really developing the hormone that we need for balance. Right. So really take a look at, looking at, why does your house smell? What is happening? Do you have a bunch of hockey gear that's sitting in your house that you could put out in the garage? How much do you have teenagers? Do you have, all those things that happen to it? And there are some really safe ways to actually rid your house of that smell without adding chemicals to it. And more of a natural based cleaner.
Yeah. Yeah. So one of the, and we spend so much money. I hate spending money on things that I don't want to spend it on. I love to spend money, don't get me wrong, but I hate to spend it on just junk. Right. And there's so much. And so we have these cleaners that we spend tons of money. They're either really expensive because they're all natural and they're not, or they're really cheap because they're just trash, right? So you could go either way. But really we need vinegar, maybe some essential oils. One of my favorite things is orange oil. You've got these big food grade orange oils. Do you know what I'm talking
I
about?
do.
It's amazing
Yeah.
because I'll use it to clean with the vinegar. I'll put it in my laundry. I'll put it everywhere, and it's an antimicrobial, as well as the vinegar is. Some people will say use vodka. You can use vodka. You can, I mean, lemon and lemon oil. Those things are great cleaners, and
Right.
they smell amazing. And essential oils.
I'm going to be honest with you, Nikki, vodka never makes it to the cleaning level. It's taken
I
care
know.
of well before that. Yeah.
I get that. I get that. I saw that one time too. I kind of had the same, but you know, I just want maybe somebody doesn't want their vodka anymore and they need a use for it. So
Right.
go clean with it.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, there are all these things that we can do, but you look at big companies, they look at it and they said, how can we make more money from this? Because they're selling a product.
Yeah.
And their mission to their investors is to make money on that product.
Yeah.
I'm a capitalist.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
sure.
With it all, I'm an entrepreneur and we're always trying to find out ways. But I think at some point, if you're making money and it's harming somebody else like the kibble companies, I don't think it's right. I think at some point as individuals, the best way we can really fight that is with our checkbook.
Yeah, it's true.
Don't buy it anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. I do that. And it is interesting seeing change because I'll go to the store, and I don't want to get too detailed about this, but I'll go to the store and look for products that I want to be 100% organic. It's just a regular grocery store.
Right.
And I'll look, and one day they won't have anything. Then I'll go back and I'll look maybe again a month later and they have one product that's organic. Okay. And I'll grab it because it's closer. It's closer than the natural health food stores that are close by.
Yeah.
And then just last night I went in and there were 4 or 5 different products that were all organic and exactly what I would want. And this has been within 6 or 8 months, maybe a year. I don't know, that I've kind of been looking and paying attention to it. And so it's happening, and it's really great because we're making an impression on what we want. Not everybody wants that, and I get that, but those who do are going out of their way to find what they need. And the big companies, they're listening because they're starting to make those products. And even my local butcher, she and I are supposed to have a meeting, just talking about food and grass fed. And she said, I want to talk more about grass fed meat because that's the direction that we're going. Yes. So yeah, it's amazing when you can see the little changes in the direction of being more healthful.
And you're seeing prices come down.
Yes.
That it was, you're looking at it like, and you're seeing, you mentioned grass fed. So even with our animals, when we look to feed them, we got to look at how that animal we are feeding our animals was raised.
Right.
So, the tough part about grass fed is, I think most cows are grass fed. They're out in a pasture and they eat, but they're finished on a feedlot with corn and other terrible stuff that
grain and plastic and
eating all the packages from grocery stores.
Yeah.
So with all of that, you're now seeing a rise in grass finished.
Right.
Which is another level and another step. But as we go into wanting to, and we're, in today's day and age with everything that's happening with the coronavirus, and now we are very aware of viruses that are in our environment. The best way I think we can combat that is eat healthier.
Yeah.
Boost our immune systems up. So if something like that comes into your environment, you have a strong immune system and you're basically fighting it with foods that are, the source. And I love that you're talking to your butcher. You should get to know your butcher. This is stuff that happened 30 years ago where we knew our butcher. We knew our grocer. We knew our farmer. We knew where all of our food was coming from. Because not only did we want it to taste better, but we essentially at that point, we cared about it. Now, in today's day and age, things are happening so fast and so rapidly, we may not have that opportunity, but it's not this huge, make this drastic change to your life and you go home tonight and you're like, all right, kids, this is what we're doing. It's all organic, grass finished, and really go crazy with it. Start with one thing.
Yeah.
You know, pick a cleaning agent. You're like, you know what? I want to get away from this specific harmful chemical. I wondered what else I could do. Then type in a Google search and find an alternative for that, and just start there.
Right. That's a really good point.
And start slow and allow it to be a journey. And before you know it, a year will go down the road and you'll feel better, because, you know, something that we've talked about quite a bit, Nikki, is you don't know how good you can feel, and you don't know how good your dog can feel. If you're always seeing them sick, we kind of think that's the normal.
Oh, they're just getting old.
Yeah. No.
I do want to hit on something real quick that I thought is a really good point, and I just want to expand on it a little bit, only because I think that it for anybody who doesn't know, because I'm talking about the grass-fed, grass-finished meat, because that's, if you don't know, I mean, of course, all cows are grass-fed for the majority of their life. And so where it's tricky and kind of a marketing gimmick is it can say grass-fed. The marketing, they can say anything that they want. What it needs to say is 100% grass-fed, or, like, as you said, grass-finished. What typically happens is they'll take those cows, take them off grass, put them into the feedlot for, 2 weeks or so. And that's, like you said, they're, besides all the drugs that they have to give them and the growth hormones, but they're, giving them, genetically modified grains and corn and things. And so what that does, and I have to get into this for a second, because I think it's a really important point, and I love it. But
so we do this.
I know. But what it does is cows naturally have a very nice balanced omega-3, omega-6 fatty acid content. So omega-3 is anti-inflammatory, omega-6 is inflammatory. We have to have both. I don't want to get too deep into that, except it's important, but we have to have both the inflammatory and the anti-inflammatory, and there has to be a balance. Once you take them off grass, they then are getting all of this stuff. They become obese and inflamed. So their omega-6 content goes way up. Their omega-3 content or composition, whatever, goes way down. And so and then there's a lot of the people who work out know CLA, or conjugated linoleic acid, which is a natural component of beef or of muscle meat. And so that also, within that 2-week period, which also, when it translates to us, gives us a nice, healthy, natural muscle mass. It's good for us, which is why those who are in, in the gym all the time, they like their CLA. But if you go and you eat a cow that's been in the feedlot for 2 weeks, there's virtually no CLA left in that animal. So you have an inflamed, obese animal filled with all kinds of toxins and GMOs and nasty foods. They're not meant to eat grain. They're not meant to eat corn. And then what happens? We eat them, or we feed them to our animals. And so we are literally taking inflammation and eating it.
Yep.
So yeah, it's not just about feeding raw and eating meat or not eating meat. It's about the source of the meat, how it was treated. And I'm going to tell you, I truly believe that it is our responsibility here as humans to take care of them, all animals, but those who, in the end, they are taking care of us. And so to treat them the way that the conventional industry, farming industry treats them, or ranching industry, it just makes me crazy. But that's what we have to think about, is what are we feeding them, and what are the nutrients within the food that we're taking in and telling our body what to do. Is it inflammation or is it not? Okay, I'm done.
No, you made a great point. I mean, just take a look at chickens. Chickens are the only creatures that are not regulated by the USDA. So their butchering process, how they raise them and all that stuff, is not actually regulated to the point of they can take a chicken, which is a social animal, put them into this crate the size of a shoebox for their entire life, cut their beaks off so they don't peck themselves to death, feed them a highly processed corn meal that they really they cannot digest. It keeps them alive, and it's got all of the hormones and everything to get them to grow. And then they slaughter the chicken.
Yeah.
We eat the chicken. Well, also at the same point, that chicken is producing eggs. And as far as I know, what I eat goes into what I produce out of my own body. And if I'm producing an egg, guess what? If I eat bad things, that's why you see eggs taste differently. And if you don't believe me, go buy an egg from somebody local that is raising eggs in their backyard, pasture raised, and they're eating, because chickens should eat bugs. They're carnivorous. They're just not carnivorous, but I mean, they're
omnivorous. Yeah.
And they're little bastards. I mean, they will peck themselves. They will peck anything. They will eat mice. But when you eat that egg tastes completely different than a conventionally raised egg. Conventionally raised eggs they lack nutrients. They lack all of the good effects. Like you had talked about beef not having CLA. You're looking at this is a broad spectrum over so much of what we eat as individuals. And, when you look at it, it's a pay now or pay later. So I might spend $4 more a dozen for pasture raised eggs, or buying eggs from, somebody down the road from me that has chickens, and I'm buying $6 a dozen from their eggs. But if I'm healthier because I eat their eggs, doesn't that keep me out of the doctor and cause me issues down the road? Lost work, lost time, sick kids, sick dog, going to the vet again and saying, I just don't know what's wrong.
Yeah.
So something, and I'll touch it, and I'm going to stop here, is a lot of people talk about allergies. My dog's allergic to chicken, and that's a big one that we hear, is that my dog's allergic to chicken.
Yeah.
Are they allergic to chicken, or are they allergic to actually how the chicken was raised?
Right.
So the chicken then in its joints and in its muscle meat and all of that is not absorbing the right amount of nutrients and absorbing more toxins inside their system. And so when you feed that chicken to your dog, then essentially are they just allergic to the toxins that chicken had absorbed?
That's a really amazing point, and has taken a little deeper than where I've taken it, because some people will say, well, I've started feeding raw and they're not doing well with chicken or even with beef. I'm like, okay, so go to rabbit, go to something that's game, and see if maybe it's the type of meat, because animals do become more sensitive a lot of times to the meats that they eat all the time. But is it not the meat? They might be sensitive to chicken and to beef, but is it the trash that's being put in the animal that we're still feeding them, even though we're trying to do the best that we can by giving them raw? But it could be raw, it could be kibble, it could be whatever. And it's the chicken that they're sensitive to. Okay, well, is it the trashy chicken?
Not all chicken and beef is created equal.
Right, it's true.
And you're looking at how were they raised, and you look at all that. So I'm going to leave at that standpoint.
Okay.
Leave on that note.
Perfect.
So Nikki, thank you so much again for this morning, and that in the radio show you have. And if you have and go ahead, and what is the radio show called, and how can people find it?
It's just Taste Life Radio. So it's Taste Life Radio. It's on KUHSdenver.com. So it's not local radio, it's global radio, which is kind of cool because it's the whole world. I'm like, that's crazy weird. But yeah, so we also do it on our Facebook Lives. So it's posted through Facebook Live, through KUHSdenver.com. It's a great station. It's a really good station, actually. They're 5th in the country. So it's big. More people need to listen. And I'm having a lot of fun with it.
You're going to be a star, and you just got to remember us little people out there when you go huge. And then, keep remembering to do the Facebook Lives with me. You're like, yeah, I'm kind of Oprah a little bit. So
I'm good not being Oprah.
So I want to thank everybody for sticking with us and just listening to us talk about, really finding that balance of health in your life and what works with your family and what works with your pets. I mean, this is really, when you're sick, it consumes your attention and it consumes your focus. We want you to be healthy so you can thrive, and then you can go build and create and live this beautiful life that we know you can live. And your dog is one of the cornerstones of it all, because when your dog is sick, you know what? We get sick and we get worried about them and we get stressed out, and stress equals dis-ease. And so we really want to make sure you are doing all that you can. So you can always follow us. You can follow parsleypet.com and like our Facebook page, or like us on Instagram, or like us on Twitter. And that's really where we're looking at all those areas of, this is what we talk about all the time. So if you want to know of different workshops that we're putting on, and we're putting on one next week, February 12th, we are putting on a workshop. It's going to be an online workshop at 6 p.m. And you can go to Eventbrite and just type in Parsley Pet, and our workshop will pop up, and go ahead and sign up for it. And you can always follow Nikki Burnett at Taste Life Nutrition. And do you have a Twitter handle as well, Nikki?
Yeah, I've got Twitter. I'm not great with Twitter. Instagram, Facebook, those are kind of the ones that I go to. Some Pinterest. I've got some kind of fun, cool, little interesting things on Pinterest. So I do my best with all of those things.
Awesome. And you can email us both if you ever have any questions or anything we talked about today, and you have a big question mark about it all. Hit us up. We love talking about this stuff. That's what we do with Facebook Live.
Yes, we do.
Because our spouses are just tired of listening to us all the time.
That is the truth.
Yeah, that's all right though. Yeah.
Right.
All right. So, hey, you guys enjoy. Have a great night. Eat something healthy tonight, and give your dog a belly rub for us.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks, Matt.
See ya. Thank you.
Bye.